Today we paint the Primark Magnus the Red. The main focus of the painting of Magnus the Red is the painting of the cool red skin. Magnus the Red is a commission work, and as usual, I had to find the right balance between quality and efficiency. Magnus the Red is one of our Primarks that I had to paint within a month. As usual, we are painting with the Army Painter paints. Also, this painting video doubles as a review for a couple of Gaahleri Airbrushes. I have been using Gaahleri Airbrushes for months now, and these airbrushes are stupid. I mean, stupid value for the price. Gaahleri Airbrushes have one main flaw though, and I will share it after painting Magnus the Red later in the video. Anyways, as for Magnus the Red, I was very unhappy with my painting of the skin. There is a bit more pressure when doing commissioned works or collaborations. Thus, I felt my painting here could be way better. After switching to my Gaahleri Mobius airbrush during the latter part of the skin painting, I began to like my painting. If you're new to airbrushing, this video will help. Airbrushing can be boring, but that's a good thing. Once you find airbrushing boring, that means you are good at using the airbrush already. Airbrushing is the most efficient way to paint any model, and combining the airbrush with brush painting will elevate your final result. I must say, I enjoyed the painting of the feathers and the armor of Magnus the Red the most. We only paint the cool red skin in this video though. So join me as I show you how I painted the red skin of Magnus with an airbrush and a brush. Hi, I'm Don. Welcome to my channel. This channel is supported by all these awesome brands. Also, special thanks to the Army Painter for making this video possible. By the way, do check out my discount codes and affiliate links down below. It won't cost you extra and it will help the channel a lot. We start this video with the painting of the cool red skin. We are painting over black primer, so we need a dark color to transition over black. We start with the darkness from the John Blanche paint sets. We paint the initial colors with the Gaahleri Swallowtail airbrush. You can do without this color, but I like dark foundation colors that serve as my darkest shadow color instead of black. This darkness is most visible in the deepest crevices and the undersides. Also, since I have old eyes, this initial dark color helps me see the volume and, to some extent, the details of the model. A foundation color also serves as a nice underpainting for the succeeding colors later. Our next color is Diabolic Plum. This is a beautiful purple color that is vibrant and very opaque for a purple. Notice that I am painting Diabolic Plum mostly from the top and a little bit on the sides only. This will give me a zenithal-ish look to my painting. Diabolic Plum was painted on the forearms and lower legs of Magnus. Now we shift to painting with Beret Maroon. This color is from the historical sets. This is a dark yet vibrant red color. Similar to the airbrushing of Diabolic Plum, I am trying to achieve a zenithal-ish look with this color. I am painting mostly from the top and a little bit on the sides. After a couple of thin passes, we have a very solid base color for our red Magnus skin. Now, we need to layer up towards the highlights. I am happy so far with our painting, but the layering towards the highlights was not good. This part was the frustrating part of the painting of Magnus for me. We start the layering of the skin with Wicked Pink. This color is insanely saturated. One of the most saturated yet opaque colors from the whole Warpaint's Fanatic range. I overdid the painting of Wicked Pink, which is fine, as it is easier to do post-shading and tone it down back to a more red color later. The Wicked Pink is very intense though. Now this Wicked Pink base is the perfect base for post-shading with speed paints. Now we switch to using speed paints as shade colors. We start with Carmine Dragon. Carmine Dragon is a vibrant, cool red color. We are airbrushing Carmine Dragon mostly from the lower areas of the model. Speed paints are translucent paints and will always give you great transitions. Now we add more depth with Purple Swarm. Airbrushing speed paints are very fun. They give you so much more control since they are translucent paints. Speed paints also require very little to no thinning with the airbrush. I thinned Purple Swarm roughly 3 parts speed paint and 1 part speed paint medium. I am still using my 0.5 Swallowtail airbrush here. In hindsight, I should have switched to a detail airbrush for more precision. Although I was going for a cool red skin, this is too pink and I am unhappy with the result. I also used too many colors at the start of the painting. Too many unnecessary colors in my opinion. However, since we are using the airbrush, we did not waste too much time anyway. If you're finding value in this video, do give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Shameless Kickstarter plug ahead. Get 24 face painting plates to print and paint, and learn how to paint the skin of 12 faces of 6 different races on Kickstarter. Follow us on Kickstarter or check our website. Do not miss this opportunity to get a ton of skin painting guides and video tutorials by SuratosStudios.com. Now we add flesh tones to the skin. This is sort of a quick experiment. I switched to flesh tones with the painting of the highlights. Painting red, much more red skin, can be tricky. We don't want to make the red skin look too pink. Thus, I switched to fleshier tones as we paint towards the highlights. I am applying the flesh tones in a fat glaze consistency. Fat glazes are more opaque glazes than the usual thin glazes. I am using a satin glazing medium from Golden in this video. You may use any glaze medium, but I prefer the satin glazing medium from Golden these days. We will discuss mediums and glazing more extensively in our upcoming Kickstarter. Oh, for water painters, of course, you can use water for glazing. It's practically free and can yield a similar result. Fat glaze layering always gives me nice transitions. I mix paints around 2 parts paint and 1 part glazing medium. My brush is loaded with water as I mix the paint and medium. The medium adds more transparency to the paint. Unlike water, though, the glazing medium does not change the viscosity of the paint too much. One of the tricks when glazing, may it be with water or medium, is to let each thin layer dry before adding more glazes on top. Build up the thin translucent layers, but always make sure to let them dry in between layers. You may use a hair dryer to speed up the drying process. Now you can see in the video that the flesh tone highlights are desaturating our very pink red skin. The flesh tones is slowly and effectively making the red skin more relatable, more realistic in a way. Also, notice in the video how I paint these highlight colors. I am applying the fat glazes with swift, fast strokes and sometimes via stippling. These methods add subtle textures to our skin painting that are lacking whenever you use an airbrush. Now we paint our final highlight. Our final skin highlight is pearl skin from the rose skin tones triad. A couple of passes of pearl skin is pushing the contrast of our red skin so far. Once happy with your highlights, you may now proceed to the last step. Oh, by the way, I do not mention it enough. I use Foxbite Hobbies Kolinsky Sable brushes for all the brush painting in this video. I like the Foxbite brushes so much we decided to sell them on our website. Now we switch to my Gaahleri Mobius 0.2 airbrush for the final glazing. We are using Carmine Dragon again. This time, I thinned this down 1:1 with speed paint medium to add more transparency to the speed paint. I applied Carmine Dragon to the middle and lower areas of the skin only. This airbrush glazing smoothened down our layering earlier and also brings back more saturated mid-tone to our red skin. Be careful to paint over the highlight areas. If you overdo this step of the painting process, you will want to repaint some highlights. After a couple of passes of Carmine Red on the middle and lower part of the skin, I am pretty happy with the result. This is not the final look of the skin though. After painting the rest of the model, I then added a few more final highlights and shadows to the skin. Now, before my final thoughts, a huge thanks to all my patrons at Patreon, Hajime Model Studio, and of course, The Army Painter for making this video possible. As I mentioned at the start of the video, Gaahleri Airbrushes are stupid. Stupid value for its price. Both the trigger type Swallowtail and the Mobius detail airbrush are well made, seem durable, and perform very well as expected. But there is one main flaw with these airbrushes. Both airbrushes have relatively good trigger sensitivity. Just do not compare the sensitivity to more expensive airbrushes. The main flaw of these airbrushes, in my opinion, is the atomization of the paints. The airbrushes struggle with the atomization of the paints at lower pressures. The sweet spot is around 25 to 30 pounds per square inches, regardless of needle size. These airbrushes are a great value. I love the trigger type Swallowtail so much since I use it for almost everything from priming, base colors, and varnishing. The Mobius airbrush is dirt cheap for a detail airbrush, but it lacks the sensitivity of the trigger and the low pressure capability of more expensive airbrushes. Now, back to Magnus the Red. As mentioned earlier, I am very unhappy with the painting of the red skin. I am unhappy with my painting process. I find my process here a tad inefficient, although I am eventually happy with the final result. My apologies for not including the painting of the rest of the model, especially the painting of the wings. Do tell me in the comment section below if you want to see those videos. I enjoyed the airbrushing of speed paints in the painting of the skin the most. I think I will explore airbrushing speed paints a ton more in my future videos. Airbrushing speed paints require very little thinning with the airbrush. Roughly 3 parts speed paint and 1 part thinner or water is a good starting point for a 0.3 needle airbrush. As for airbrushing war paints fanatics, roughly 4 parts war paints fanatics with 1 part thinner or water is a good starting point with a 0.3 airbrush. Needless to say, after using my Gaahleri Airbrushes for several months now, I can confidently recommend Gaahleri Airbrushes to painters at any level. Lastly, do check out our Kickstarter campaigns that are both launching soon at the description below. That's it, Pansit. I hope you like this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe and all that stuff. Until next video, guys. Bye! If you like this video, you might want to check out these other videos.